Hi, welcome back to Beautiful Souls. This is a new series. This is a series that I've actually been working on basically since June, since the first June that I started my channel actually doing uploads. Finally got a good base of where I want the story and everything to go with. So I know none of this happens. None of this happens in canon of Avatar, or of Naruto. So how I'm going to have this series done is that throughout, like, after this is after Hashirama has passed. So it's about 100 years. It's about over 100 years before Naruto was born. And these incarnations are going to happen in between that time. The world of the Avatar is running on a faster time than the world of Naruto. And Indra's reincarnation did go to the other world and everything, and reincarnated. The two ended up killing, or one ended up dying, one didn't, and stuff like that in the world of the Avatar, and then later came back to the world of Naruto. Or Indra didn't reincarnate, and it's just Ashra's spirit, or whichever way you want to choose, they both go, or it's just Ashra's Hashirama spirit. Ashra goes into the Avatar world, and all the way from the first Avatar, all the way up until Korra, it's originally like been Ashra's spirit, but because of no previous person being bonded to Rava, in the Naruto universe, they won't be part of the Avatar series. And later on, spoilers, I don't think this is much of a spoiler for The Legend of Korra, because it's been out for so long. And it's been ended, and it's not going to be continued. And then there's other media that's been out. So during the last few episodes of Korra, the Avatar legacy was severed due to Rava being split from Korra, and then them bonding again, which would make Korra the first Avatar. Now would technically be the first Avatar in the line. So her consciousness in the spirit line will like continue, but all other avatars before that are gone. Like Korra, even in canon, no longer has access to the council of all the other avatars that came before her, even though they were her. So when Korra is like dying, she's achieved her goal. Like the Avatar world is back on its place. And Rava, knowing this, decides to, in the spirit world, when she goes to reincarnate into like another person, into like another body, she ends up going back to the Naruto world. So that's how I'm setting this up. And with all of that being said, so Naruto's born. A strange thing, though, when Naruto is born, it seems like when Naruto starts crying and everything, like the ground begins to crack, and he begins to. What is the opposite of Earth? Hold on one moment. I'm going to look this up. I actually didn't write this down. Sorry about that. I wanted to double check and make 100% sure because I didn't actually write it down. But because Naruto is the avatar after Korra, his natural affinity would be Earth. So when he's born, the round and he starts crying, the Earth begins to crack and wind begins to like move around him and he begins to like belch out some fire. No one besides Minato actually sees this. Because this, and Obito, Madara, Toby, take your pick of a name, sees this as well. So all that plays out normal. He bashes in Obito's back with the Rasengan. They get to where Kurama gets sealed. As soon as Kurama gets sealed into Naruto, a few things actually change because not only is Rava there, but also a woman is standing there outside of the cage, and Kurama is just staring at these two and realizing the big white floating spirit is a very, very powerful being and feels a little uncomfortable, but feels calm inside. So afterwards, Kurama is still angry and everything, but Rava is kind of keeping that ill intent and keeping his chakra basically from interacting with Naruto in a negative way. And for 7 years, the first 7 years of Naruto's life basically goes pretty much the same. And then, because he never exhibited those things again, belching the fire and everything. And Rava is basically inside just kind of laughing at Korra, within those first few days of Naruto being born, that it seems like her reincarnation is exactly like her, able to use 3 elements from birth. But instead of water, instead of not being able to do wind, the brat can't. The new avatar can't do water. And Korra kind of scoffs at that and everything, and even Kurama just sees these interactions. So when Naruto is about 7 years old, in the whole time he's always, whenever he's sad or something, or whenever he's sad, happy or something, like the wind seems to pick up, and sometimes when he's like crying, the ground cracks. In his sleep, sometimes he will his breath will be slightly hotter, but not to the point where it can ignite. And he never picks up on these things, but when he's 7, he begins, these kids begin to bully on him and everything, and he gets angry, and he kind of goes to throw out a punch, but instead two things kind of happen. Earth begins to like rise up and kind of hits the kid, but they also get sent back with like a gust of wind that comes from like behind Naruto. And he doesn't realize what had happened, and the kids kind of freak out and like run away. That night, Naruto, when he's asleep, um, Korra and Rava like ask Kurama to like bring the kid into like the mindscape. And they've had 7 years to discuss this. They asked this Nine Tails beast like, what's its problem? Why do people treat it the way that it does? Because they kind of see Kurama as a somewhat halfway between a living creature and a spirit. So, and Korra loves the spirit realm. She just spent years in the spirit realm and got to know the spirits and kind of really reconnect with the whole spirituality about being the Avatar. This isn't that brash, um, uneducated, like kind of sheltered Korra. This is a elderly woman that has lived a long life. One of the few avatars that have actually lived to old age and died in old age. So a more calm, collective, a little bit more reserved, still snarky, and certain parts of her personality still went out, but she's been more humbled over the years, especially uh, after basically because of her, the Avatar line was destroyed. Like, and she made a decision that, unlike the previous avatars, she wants to make sure that the next, like all the other avatars after her, are at least know their goal and are trained properly, so something like this never happens again. She feels extreme guilt about that. And this played into like Naruto's personality. He's still the same Naruto, but he really can't stand when people are being hurt, and he always like tries to help out people. So some of the villagers do like start inclining to him more just because of his happy-go-lucky personality. Even when people throw things at him, he's kind of like Killer Bee, like, you know what, fuck all you guys, I'm gonna be myself, kind of thing. He never really lets the antagonization that people throw at him really get to him. So when Naruto gets into the mindscape and everything, he's like, whoa, what is this place? Because unlike in canon, it's actually not a sewer, because I'm taking the theory because of all the harsh treatment that Naruto had and all the inner demons and scars, that mental trauma that he has, like why his mindscape was a sewer. But because he never let any of that ever like put him down, and he never really got sad because he didn't have anyone, he always felt at peace. His mindscape's a little bit different. There's a giant mountain slash cliff, whatever image you want to use, but just literally a huge cliff face that has all these bars and everything on it. And there's like bars coming down, and he sees this giant fox behind it, and he gets scared, and he begins to back up. But then he feels he bumps into someone, and he looks up and he turns around, and then there's like this big open void that is warm and accepting. And then he looks up because he's seeing this. He bumps the person. He looks down, turning around, and he sees Boots, and he comes up, and he just sees the face of like this elderly woman that is just smiling at him, and he can feel love coming off of him. And then he sees behind her, and he freaks out again because this is the first time he sees Rava. And then Rava, like Korra speaks, "Young one, don't be scared of the one behind me. She's a good person. You'll like her. But it's about time we start your training." So they spend what seems like hours and everything talking to Naruto and really explaining what had happened. Because, mind you, Korra and Kurama have been talking these past 7 years. And Kurama, he's still angry about being sealed in the brat, but learning about what the Avatar is and like what the destiny of the boy that he was sealed into, thinks back to like what his father said, that one day a child will be born and he'll bring the Biju back together, not as they were, and he should try to like help this kid out. And he believes this is Naruto. Matter of fact, it is Naruto. We know it's Naruto, but the characters in the story don't. So Naruto is really, they explain things to Naruto, like what powers he has and everything. And Naruto, being the person, he asks, "Does that mean I can become Hokage and become the best ninja?" Sorry, excuse me. Korra kind of like smiles at him and laughs. It's like, "You'll become more than a Hokage. You'll become a savior, a beacon of hope for those who have lost it. Now, it's about time for you to wake up. We'll meet again very soon. In the meantime, keep up the good work, little kid." And with that, you beautiful souls, that's where I'm actually going to end this part. This was more of an excerpt, and next succeeding parts are actually going to have more dialogue and everything. I wanted to use this to part 0, this part 0 to more set up the story without a lot of dialogue and explain a few mechanics of everything before I do like the dialogue, so it's not this long drawn out. This is going to be a somewhat short series. The story is going to progress a lot faster than the others because Naruto will be learning different bending styles. And he already has a knack for 3 of them, just like Korra did. She had a knack for earth, fire, and her native water. Naruto's going to have a knack for earth, wind, and fire. Yeah, because he would have a hard time with water because water and earth are opposites in the Avatar world, and fire and wind are opposites in the Naruto world. Just because airbending was the hardest for Korra to actually learn because of the nature of the opposites and everything. So that being said, leave a comment down below what you think and what you would like from the series. The ship is open, but I am leaning more towards doing like the canon, just because the interactions between Hinata and Naruto would have been the same. Though Naruto would have put up a better fight, just because he'd have more confidence. He wouldn't try to like intimidate him, though he would actually get into a fight and get beat up a little bit more, but still protect Hinata. Their interactions would still be like the same as in canon. Naruto would have like played some pranks, but not to the degree that he did, because one day he would have realized, like, these people, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to do what I can to be better, kind of thing. And also, comment down below, who do you think the team should be? Should it be like in canon, or should there be a different team? That being said, make it make sense. Kind of give me an explanation of why you chose who you would want the ship to be, or the teams. And the most liked comment for the team will be the team, and the most liked comment for the ship will, I'll think about it in a way, the pros and cons, and see if it matches up with what I had. But I did have it planned out how I want the story to go and where I want it to end, and a few openings to one of the major ones is like team selection. So do give me a team suggestion of who is getting team, and I can finish up the latter half of the story. That being said, thank you guys all for the support. Like and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you beautiful souls in the next video.